Hi everyone, how are you? How have you been? I know, but the good news is today I have another treat for you. Yep, I would like to show you my balls. Yeah, I bet you thought it might have been something else. Yeah, no, sorry, don't have those, but I do have these. These are fairy balls. Listen, aren't they fantastic and fabulous? What they're good for is anything that your spirit tells you they're good for. In addition to when you're starting and ending a journey or a meditation, or if you'd like to put good energy into a room, they are just absolutely wonderful. And I wanted to share that with you today. They are sometimes a little bit hard to find. I got these on the recommendation from another shamanic practitioner. I'm so sorry. I can't think of their name offhand, but what I'm going to do is post that right down below so you can see where to buy these beautiful gems, okay? But I wanted to come on and give you some good juju, some good vibes, good vibrations, okay? So, yay! Alrighty. I also wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world right now. And as you know, there's so much in addition to the virus, the quarantine, the this, the that. There's also the situation with what happened to George Floyd. And, a lot of times when it comes to spiritual stuff, and I am at a loss for words, but I'm trying, so bear with me. But, a lot of times in the spiritual industry, people tend to not address it. And if they do, it's sort of this blanket thing of don't allow it to affect you. And I have to disagree with that in this scenario. I'm always a big fan of saying to observe instead of absorb, but we've observed enough. And what happened to this man is murder. It's absolute murder. And let me tell you, when I saw what happened to him on video, my heart was wounded. I'm wounded. My heart hurts so bad. Imagine your loved one. Imagine your loved one screaming for their mom, screaming for their life. No one deserved that treatment. No one. And the truth is, it was murder. It happened every day. And it happened to African Americans more times than you can imagine. And I am horrified. I am mortified. My heart is broken. And I am ashamed. And I'm embarrassed. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we have disappointed humanity in such a huge way. And what followed after, these riots, the looting, the stealing, that upset me only because I know that that didn't solve anything, and it won't, you know. Uh, but it's understandable, and that's what I want to talk to you about also, is that in light of this horrific thing that happened, how do you expect people to respond? I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? Like, again, there's another thing, you know, this white privilege idea. I am of that persuasion, right? I do have white privilege. And some of you are offended to hear about white privilege, and you say, I don't have that, I don't have that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And the sooner we recognize that, the better we'll understand, and maybe we'll want to stand shoulder to shoulder in the fight to change this, change the laws, protect people like George Floyd. Okay? I want to tell you a little story about my childhood. In the early 80s, we used to always have people over on Thanksgiving and Christmas, you know, all the holidays. I grew up in an Italian family, okay? And everybody came to our house for these holidays, and it was my aunts and uncles and cousins, and, you know, it was like a ton of people. And we were all kind of looking around outside, you know, out the windows, out the doors, walking around, talking. And all of a sudden, a black guy walked down the street. That's all he was doing. He was walking down the street. And my uncle called him a word, the N-word, also the M word, which is an Italian version of the N word. And everybody started to crowd around my uncle, watching this young black man walk down the street. That's all he was doing, was just walking down the street. He was going where he had to go. He was going somewhere, you know. And finally, my mother says, "Do you think we should call the cops?" And even as a kid, I gotta say that I thought that was rather extreme. You know, he wasn't doing anything. But as years have gone by, and as I've grown older, I've realized that a lot of us were brought up this way. We were brought up to look at persons of color, African Americans in particular, as a threat, and as an outsider, and as somebody that doesn't belong in our neighborhood. And it's embarrassing, it's heartbreaking, but if we're going to be honest, if I'm going to be honest with myself and really look inside myself, I know that I have been raised with that mentality, and I have not stopped to think about what it's like for persons of color. You know, the fact that I could go into the store and not be followed because they think I'm going to steal. I never had to worry about being killed when I was pulled over with my car. That's white privilege that I've had a lot of. And let me tell you, if you think because you grew up poor and you happen to be white that you are just like a black person, you're not. You're not. It has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the fact that Just because you're white, you're already way ahead of the game, way privileged, more than you'll ever know. And I think that that's the shift that we need. That's what change, that's how change is going to occur. It starts with how we think and how we identify how we're really thinking, and stop, blaming them. They did not put themselves in this position, and I hate to say they, because it's an all people thing. But in this case, this is absolutely extraordinarily horrific. And it's got to change. And it won't change if our minds don't change. And if we don't do something about it. It's not enough to make a Facebook post and say, Black Lives Matter, and here's a picture of a black picture, a black meme with nothing. Yeah, I did my part. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, I didn't. We have to understand, and then we have to insist that the laws be changed. We cannot tolerate this anymore. And I'm not one to sit up and preach, okay? But I'm just tired of seeing people just post and then sit back and post and preach and you better do this. We've got protests going on down here. I've been to one and I'm going again. And we have to continue to peacefully do that as well. We have to stay on top of this. We have to not let this one go, guys. I think, like I said in the beginning, the spiritual industry, they want to just stay silent and say don't judge and say that everything happens for a reason and this has to happen and this, and there has to be action, okay? There is a time for love and light. I know about it. I love it. But there is also a time for action, okay? And it's just because you feel uncomfortable, don't stay silent. Don't stay dormant and do nothing. This is uncomfortable because it's embarrassing and it's been going on for hundreds of years. This system has been set up this way for white men, okay? And that's another thing. There's also male privilege, okay? We know that as women. Men will never understand that, but it's not the same as what's going on here. But if we continue to lie dormant, including spiritual people, white spiritual women that say nothing and do nothing, who are waiting, to say the right thing, to find the right words, to find the right moment, to, latch on to a good idea or listen to, honestly, we are responsible for setting examples in our communities too. And if we just sit and rest on our laurels and say this is the way it's supposed to be, and there's a reason for everything, and we do nothing to help, then we are part of the problem. And if we are creating more violence and looting, we also are part of the problem. There's no easy answers, there's no easy ways, but we've got to make an effort here. We got to do something, okay? And I apologize for getting up on my thing, my soapbox, but it's my channel, and I will yell if I want to. So anyway, I hope that you do something, whatever it is. Attend a rally, speak out, speak up. Watch that video. Watch it. I mean, that's the thing. I think some people turned it off, don't want to see it, they're uncomfortable. Watch it. And tell me that it doesn't change your heart forever. I love you. I wish you so much love, and I hope you are remaining to be the starlet that you are in every day. And let me give you some more of my balls here before I go. Blessings to you all. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye now.